Hello, everybody. Sorry, I just kind of lost my voice. I thought it was coming back, but it hasn't. So I guess I'll make this short and sweet 'cause I didn't realize how bad I sounded until I just started talking. Um, I had one interesting story that kind of my last month of my trip, I swear was the most eventful, and that's where most of my stories are going to come from. Um, a few of them are kind of horror stories. They're not the best, but I mean, anything that goes on kind of prepares you for other things. So I'm kind of glad, that some of those things did happen, even though at the moment they were total garbage. So I I went over from the Fizzbomb. I met a trainer couple that were only about an hour away to where I was staying, and uh, there we go, get this up a bit. And so they were really close by, and at that point I was staying at the family in Wyoming, and that was really nice. But like I said, I was only kind of riding by myself, and I was kind of missing the point of doing the whole internship trip. So I met this couple, and I decided to see if they were looking for somebody, and they actually were. They were going to go down south for a month later. So what I decided to do is work for them just for the month, and then from there it would have been like the end of October, and then I was gonna plan on meeting my mom somewhere, go over, meet her like around Ohio, and then go down south to Georgia because that's something we usually do. So it worked out, like the timing was really good that the month would have been the end of October, so it worked out well. But within that month, like I said, a lot of stuff went down, and I just want to give you like a bit of an intro to like my setup there. So their farm was they had a big breeding deal going on. They had a ton of broodmare, a ton of yearlings, weanlings, everything. And they also had all their 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and then the 4-year-olds that they were featuring on. So my role was basically, I guess, I was gonna do whatever, clean stalls, feed, water, tack, untack, whatever they kind of needed to be done, just the basic duties of owning a horse training facility, as well as I was going to get some lessons on my horse. So it worked out pretty, like in that sense, I was excited that they were going to pay me a bit as well, which this was the first place that they were offering me money. They just said, like the guy literally said, we work hard enough that I'm going to pay you. So that kind of actually that was nice of him because I wasn't expecting or asking for any money. But I was going to get paid and then also get a lesson a week. So I guess, or a lesson, would have been 3 lessons then, but I think, I don't know exactly. I was supposed to get a bit more than I ended up getting. Anyways, but yeah, so the kind of setup there, big facility. The street over, there's a guy that has these Airbnb cabins that he rents out, and they're super cute. It's just, you walk in, it's TV, bed, there's bunk beds in the corner, and then there's an actual bedroom in the back and a bathroom with a nice bathtub, shower, and it was just like a really cute little place. Like if you were to go spend your time in the Black Hills for a weekend, you would rent it out. So that's where I stayed for the month pretty much, and that was pretty nice. And but actually the first week there was someone living in there, so I ended up sleeping in the house with one of the other neighbors who the training people actually didn't even know, but the guy that owned the cabins hooked me up with him, and he just lived like pretty much on the same property where the cabins were. So he had a spare area that I could sleep in. I was like, well, like I have no other option. Like I guess I'll stay here. He ended up being like the best guy ever. Like he was a car collector, around 65-ish, and like honestly we got along so well, and I was able to rant to him about all my crazy stories and just what was going on the daily basis down at the horse training place. And yeah, me and him hung out a lot just because I had to stay in his house. And like the first day for work, he literally made me breakfast. He was awake, made like an amazing meal for breakfast, and I was like, it was so unexpected because the whole trip so far, like the 3 months beforehand, were, I mean, there were some rough points. So like with all those rough times, I was really not expecting to have like any sort of special treatment. So the fact I was getting this special treatment, I was like, holy shit, this is like rare, and this is kind of nice. So I stayed with him for I think 3 or 4 nights just until that cabin was ready for me. And then from there, the trainers, they let me drive. Well, like yeah, I guess they let me just drive they have like a Ranger side by side that they use for all their chores and stuff. So I drove that back and forth from the cabin to work because it was a little ways. I had to go down the road, maybe like 200 feet to the next driveway where the cabin was. So that was kind of my setup. And yeah, throughout the month, I spent most of my time hanging out with the one guy I spent the first few days with. I spent most of the time hanging with him and also the guy, Kevin, that owned the cabins. They were both like super supportive and super awesome and like made me some meals and stuff and just like let me hang out with them and like kind of cry to them sometimes. So with that, it was an interesting month. There's a lot of stories that I have to share and unpack with you. But for now, that was my setup. And also, like, I had my horse there as well. So she had, they have a big, because they have to be so efficient with how they stall and pack horses because they have so many. I think they had around like 90 on their property. So they have to be very strategic about just how they have everything lined up. So she was in like a really big lean-to kind of with individual turnouts. So it was one really big building with a big roof, and then each horse had about maybe 25 feet long by 15 feet wide. That was their own space. So that was nice. She had her own little turnout, and it's not like she was stuck in a stall without me being able to ride because that was like didn't really have a lot of time to ride her. So it was nice that she was able to still get some movement. So that was the setup at South Dakota. And next is a few of my first stories there.